Hello, my name is Gordon Smith. I'm presenting this video as part of my submission to Vanguard College for a position of adjunct faculty. I believe I'm uniquely qualified, education and experience to support Vanguard in its ongoing efforts to develop ministers and lay people and disciples for the gospel of Jesus Christ. My education is a blend and informed by both social work and theology, both at the undergraduate level and graduate level, and my graduate degrees have been primarily through online and distance learning, so I'm familiar with those platforms and adult learner needs. My career is also informed by theology and social work and pastoral ministries in formal education, educational components at work, mentoring students, pastoral care, and practical helps. Why apologetics? I believe apologetics and its utility in seminary education and Bible college education. It's informed by the New Testament. First Peter, as you'll recall, asks us to be ready to make a defense. The word defense is translated from the Greek as apologia, and of course that informs the whole impetus of apologetics in theological education. We're reminded also of the book of Acts, where Paul, when he was in Athens on the Areopagus, offered an oratory where we recognize now the cosmological and the teleological arguments blended into his oratory as an evangelistic outreach, so that apologetics isn't an esoteric academic exercise. It was part of the vocabulary and the language of the New Testament church and part of believers' lives and how they conducted themselves. Why is this important? I think apologetics is important because J.P. Moreland recognized and wrote that people are moving in our modern society away from a belief in God to opinions about God, that there's gaps in knowledge of the Bible that leads to degrees of faith, so that I believe apologetics at a seminary education for pastors helps bridge those gaps in the pulpit and in the pews so that people's lives are filled. So what's changed between the first century and today? Aside from technology, I think there's not a lot of change. We still have societies that are polytheistic, atheistic, and skeptical and hedonistic. Then, as now, people build reputation on what they say and do, and it's in challenge. It's being challenged by Christians. So challenge and riposte from the New Testament phenomena is continuing on today. We'll talk about that in a second. We recognize the New Testament. It was part of what happened to Christ. In the book of Luke, we find that the experts of the law sent spies in to challenge Jesus' authority, whether it was a heretic or whether it was genuine with his civil disobedience or heresy. And with the whole issue around the coin, Jesus was able to divide that issue and demonstrate that our connection to God and our obligations to society and to other people, while our separate issues are still very much connected. As well in Matthew, we see in Challenge and Riposte, the Pharisees and Sadducees had a very thorny theological issue for Jesus. To challenge his authority as a teacher, Jesus undercuts those arguments to demonstrate, again, the unique organic relationship between ourselves and our relationship with God and to one another individually and personally, was something that religion tends to do, and our view of Christianity tends to see as an organic relationship between the two. Challenge and Riposte occurs today. At the U of A campus or any university campus or college, the debate of God's existence and its viability of the Christian faith are ongoing. Not so much are we concerned about winning the argument. We're reminded by Paul and by Peter that we need to be gentle and respectful to not win the argument, but win the soul, to keep the conversation alive and the discussion viable. So what's needed? I think back to Moreland's comments about gaps in knowledge in the Bible and degrees of faith. I believe there's a need for apologetics to continue to be a part of believers' lives. That occurs as pastors add apologetics to their lexicon. It flows through ministries. It absorbs and it's infused in people's lives as they come in contact with the ministries of the church. And that happens as colleges invest in apologetics, not as chapters of courses, but as whole courses, as things are filtered through so that it's become a part of pastors' lives. I submit myself to Vanguard to participate with you to develop apologetics in the lives of young leaders. Thank you.